What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers may have found their center in Alex Len. He was originally slotted to go sign with the Indiana Pacers, but now speculation is starting to circle that he may end up heading his way to the Lakers for more opportunity, more playing time, things like that. We'll touch on that here in a moment. Now, there are no significant reports that are he's going to go sign with the Lakers, but the Indiana Pacers just signed Jahlil Okafor to a 10-day contract, which has kind of started these rumors because Alex Len was headed to go there. And they already have Thomas Bryant. So unless Alex Len isn't going there, and now they're trying to trial and error some centers, or Miles Turner is going to be out for a significant time, it doesn't really make sense to bring in Okafor, right? So a lot of people are saying this may mean that he's headed to the Los Angeles Lakers. Keith Smith, many of you are familiar with, Trevor Lane, Lakers Nation. Keith Smith talked about how this is probably what's going to happen, that he's probably looking at, not a report. He's not saying this is going to happen. He's saying it makes sense that, hey, this is something that you could see develop, something that could happen. And it is, right? Something that I've talked about very heavily is, do any of these centers, these kind of backup centers or centers that are kind of sometimes starting but backup, do some of them kind of look at this and go hey, this may be an opportunity for me to kind of get out? And then I could go start for the Lakers, or even if I'm playing a backup role, I can play a backup role for the Lakers and probably get 20 minutes and be on a contending team instead of the bad team I'm on or whatever, right? Depending on the circumstances. Obviously, Lakers are very limited on the amount of money they can sign a guy like a Clint Capella. I would love to have Clint Capella, but even if they bought him out, Lakers wouldn't be able to sign him because he's making $20 million, which is 12. Lakers can only sign guys making $12.8 million or less. So you're kind of, again, limited on the pool, and there's not really great options there. Now, the question then becomes, if Alex Len is the guy that the Lakers are going to bring in, is he the answer? Is he the guy that can kind of help the Lakers? Not really. I don't mind Alex Len. Sure, he's fine. He had some really good stretches for Sacramento. He's a true 7-footer, 250 pounds. He's got the size that you're looking for and the height, right? He's a legit 7 feet. He's 250 pounds. He's a guy that has some athleticism, right? But he's not he's. The question becomes, how much better is he than Jackson Hayes? I don't know, right? On the surface, yes, I think he's better than Jackson Hayes, but I think Luka might make Jackson Hayes look great, right? And Alex Len isn't this great shot blocker, right? He's not this great interior presence, but he is a guy that can bang with the big boys. He's a guy that's not afraid to bang with the big boys. He has a 7'4" wingspan, so he's got good size, good length. So he is more of a physical center, a physical interior presence for a team like the Lakers. He's had some great seasons. He's had some not so great seasons. He's primarily been, a reserve type guy, right? He's mostly been a guy that's primarily been in a backup role. He's kind of built that for his career. He has had seasons and stints where he started, especially earlier in his career. But you look at what he provides. Let's look at this season with Sacramento, for example. He played a total of 7.2 minutes per game on 36 games played. He started 3 of them. He shot 53.7% from the floor. Not really a three-point shooter. He's had seasons where he's taken an attempt and a half, but he's not really that. On occasion, sure, but he's mostly a guy that's around the basket. He was 16.7% for Sacramento this year, but on 0.2 attempts. So literally not even half an attempt a game. 60% from 2-point range. I had an EFG of 55%. Free throw line, he shot 54% from the foul line, averaged 2 rebounds, an assist, half a steal, half a block, and 1.4 points. Again, that was in 7 minutes on 1.5 attempts per game. So, again, not taking a ton of attempts. But you look at previous stints, right? Look at Sacramento in 2021, 2022. He played 39 games during that, and that was when he went from Washington to Sacramento, and he had some nice little stints there. That season, with Sacramento, he averaged 15.9 minutes per game, got 4.5 field goal attempts, Again, same similar stats, 60%. Averaged 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.2 assists with half a steal and a block. And then that was in 16 minutes of action, right? Like that's kind of what you're looking for with him. You're looking for him to kind of come in, slot in, and give you, 16 minutes of action, right? Like 15 minutes, like split minutes with him and Jackson Hayes. But for the most part, right, like he's a guy that you're not looking to come in and play probably 30 minutes a night. But he's a guy that I do think can fill a hole, right? Fills a void. I'm not going to lie, personally, I would rather have Trey Jemison. Now, you do have the argument with Alex Len is that he's a veteran, he has experience, he's been there, done that, right? Like he's going to play his role, he knows his role. So there is kind of the like inexperience versus experience route. Even same thing with Jackson Hayes, inexperience versus experience, right? Alex Len is a guy that you could put out there and trust in, crunch time or specific situations, right? Like, so sure, I can see the logic in that. He's 31 years old, but he's always been a limited option, limited player, limited minutes. Just kind of gives you that physicality on the inside. Right? He's a guy that's not shy when it comes to just being physical on the interior. To be honest, like if we're being honest though, not really better. Like what option is clearly better? There's not really. Like all the guys that are available are all available for various reasons. None of them are really good. None of them are really starting caliber centers. So it's kind of just like pick your poison, right? Like, yeah, Mo Bamba could be great. He might arguably be the best option out there, right? Because he can spread the floor. He can block shots. He's got an insane wingspan, right? He's athletic. Makes sense for the lob threat. But he's also a guy that just like seems to just take possessions off. He doesn't really want to do the dirty work. He just wants to like block shots. He wants to do the highlight stuff, block shots and shoot threes. That's it, right? Like he doesn't really want to have to be that runner and stuff like that. That's why he keeps moving various places. Like there's a reason teams just keep moving off of him over and over and over again. Even teams that need centers move off of him, right? Because they'd rather go another direction. I mean, San Antonio supposedly had interest in Mo Bamba and then decided to go the other route, right? And get Bismack Biyombo over bringing in a Mo Bamba, who actually makes a ton of sense for that team, especially slot alongside Wemby. But they were like, nah, we'd rather have Bismack Biyombo, right? Like, and then it's like Daniel Tice, but he's 6'8". Right? It's like, go down the list. Maybe, Kelly Olynyk becomes available. Maybe some of these other guys become available. I don't know. The only reason I'd prefer Trey Jemison is because he's 6'11", 270, and I think he just moves better. Like Alex Len, don't get me wrong, he can move, he can defend a little bit, but he's not a guy like you're going to rely on, and I would just rather go with the upside guy and Trey Jemison. What does he look like once he gets comfortable and gets familiar out there on the basketball court? But look, if you sign Alex Len, fine, right? Like I'm not going to hate it, I'm not going to love it, right? But like I'll be, fine. Like it's a 7-foot guy, 250 pounds. We need it, right? We need that. We need a guy with size. We need a guy with physicality. We need a guy that can be a lob threat. He can be all those things, right? Him and Luka, I think, could make an interesting pairing, right? Luka's going to make any of these guys be, probably double-digit scorers, right? So it just really then boils down to, Jackson Hayes or bringing in a Alex Len, right? Like, I think it's matchup dependent, right? Like if you're going up against Jokic, you might probably start Alex Len just because he's bigger and can be that interior presence. If you're going up against kind of like a more, kind of floor running big, right? Like sure, you go with Jackson Hayes, or maybe they just start Jackson Hayes full time and bring Alex Len. Alex Len, if he really is going to forgo the opportunity with the Indiana Pacers to then go to the Los Angeles Lakers, there has to be incentive. There has to be a reason. Either the Lakers are guaranteeing him X amount of minutes, or they're guaranteeing him a starting spot. So that becomes the question, right? Like it doesn't have to necessarily be a starting spot, but the Lakers could be like, hey, like if you come here, we'll get you at least 25 minutes a game, right? We'll split you and Jackson Hayes minutes, right? We'll make sure you get, your 25 or whatever you're going to play, or your 20, or how many minutes do you want to play, like whatever, right? And then you kind of go that route, or they promise them like, hey, you're going to be our starter because we just need a big physical presence. I think Alex Len checks, like in theory, checks all the boxes. Right? He can block shots, he can rebound. Right? He's not like super stellar at any of them though. Right? He's not a guy that's like super, like he's not this like super gifted scorer. He's not this super gifted rebounder. But like if you let's look at his per 36, right? So if you come on down to his per 36 this season, he'd be an 8 and 8 guy with 4.5 assists, 1.1 steals, and 2.5 blocks. So again, block shots, he can rebound, be a bucket getter, right? Like, but nothing too crazy. He's had years like with Atlanta, he was a 20 and 10 guy with 2 blocks in per 36. That's probably his best season. Some of these seasons with Sacramento, he would have been a 14. So like that 2021-2022 season, he would have been a 14 and 10 guy or 14 and 9 guy with 2 blocks, right? Last 3 seasons with Sacramento, he would have been a 9 and 13 guy. That was a little surprising, but basically a double-double guy or close to a double-double guy with 2.5 blocks per game and 36 minutes of action. So if he can block a shot, if he can be an 8 and 8 guy and get you a block and a half a game, maybe a steal, perfect, right? That's all you're looking for. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Alex Len? Do you hate the idea of Alex Len? Kind of mixed in the middle. Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. If it ends up happening, I'll break it more down, like him and his playing style and the way he'll fit and all that stuff. I'll break that down more. And this is just kind of speculation. I wouldn't even really call it a rumor because there aren't even like reports or anything about it. It's just kind of like people are taking like, why would they bring in Jahlil Okafor if they already just brought or expected to sign Alex Len? And it's something that's plausible, right? It's not something that's like, oh, Giannis is coming. Like, no, it's like, okay, Alex Len, like, I can see that. That makes sense. So I'll break it down more in depth, like his actual play style and the way he'd fit when that time comes. But let me know your thoughts and opinion if that time comes down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.